In the previous Cursed AI Weapons video, we tried to break the gun GPT machine by giving it impossible tasks, like double-barrel AK-47s. It created two of them. An RPG that shoots shotgun shells, a bolt-action revolver, a belt-fed revolver, a weapon that pleasures the enemy to death. That's very pleasurable. We can't break this machine by using complex prompts, but I think we can break it if we introduce a human emotion. And after seeing this comment,
try childhood weapons as a prompt.
The emotion I chose today is nostalgia. Let's see how well this machine knows us. Let's type in the prompt: childhood weapons. Oh, and by the way, if you are new, this machine mysteriously appeared one day out of nowhere. How it works is you put in a weapon description in the monitor, like we did now. Then you press the red button and the machine will create that weapon. But as a fellow human being, unsurprisingly, I'm trying to break it. So let's see what we get. The prompt is in, and if we press the create button, out comes... son of a bitch. A stick. The greatest of all time. The best childhood weapon on planet Earth. The stick. That looks like a gun. A stick that looks like a gun was a rare special item dropped by the Mother Nature herself. Only a handful of things compared to the feeling of finding a stick that has the perfect shape of a weapon. Arguably, this was the most overpowered weapon of all time. First of all, it had infinite ammo. It never needed to be reloaded. Second, it never overheated or jammed. And the third and the most important reason, you didn't even have to aim at the guy you were shooting. All you had to do was to convince that you shot him first, which was easier when you sneaked up behind him. But if both of you started shooting together at each other, then the conversation would spiral into a 30-minute argument, and whoever was less convincing would end up dead.
Babidi boopy? Che cosa? Bibidi boopidi babidi babidi.
Tu sei un pazzo, va via da qui! Sono stanco di te, ti do un pugno nella testa! Ti uccido con questa carne!
Another cool thing was, no matter the shape, this could be any type of weapon. A rifle, a shotgun, a sniper rifle. What type of weapon this was depended on the kind of sounds you made with your mouth. There were many, but I'd like to point out the three main types of kids that used this weapon. First, the plasma rifle kids. Pew pew, pew pew pew, pew 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 pew. For them, this was the plasma gun from Star Wars that shot hot bolts of light at everyone. Second, these were traditional, the good old bang 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 kids. No wait. FBI! Or these two fall into the same traditional category, I think, because one tries to sound like a normal weapon, and the other one just describes it. Bang, bang, bang. And then there were third, the mental, the blood sugar over 9,000 hyper kids, the full auto motherfuckers. The only type of kids that were more insane than the full auto kids were the ones that carried around a whole ass log and used it as a bazooka. The stick. Nostalgia. Alright, as I mentioned in the previous video, when you put in a prompt and create a weapon, you don't have to write a new prompt to get another one. You can just press the create button again and the machine will give you a different variation of the same description. So if we leave it like this and press the create button again, old one will go down and out comes another childhood weapon. The bottle. The bottle. If some of you don't know, this was the only childhood weapon that realistically simulated the feeling and the visual of firing a real gun. So what you did was you took an empty water bottle, then you twisted the bottle hard so the air pressure would build up in front of the bottle. Then, while holding and squeezing the bottle firmly, with your left hand, you would swiftly untwist the cap, and the bottle would go... The cap would fly off fast as hell and probably hit a teacher, and best part was, if you looked back, the smoke would come out from the tip of the bottle. Which wasn't actually a smoke, it was water vapor. But still, this made a very loud bang sound, fired a projectile, and had a smoke effect from the nozzle. Everything that happens while firing a real gun. I distinctly remember the complete mayhem when me and my friends found out how to do this. But the flaw was, you could only do this like 3-4 times until the bottle became unusable. And it was actually difficult to properly aim and hit something or someone with the cap. But nevertheless, the bottle, one of the best childhood weapons. Alright, let's create another childhood weapon, and if we press the button, old one goes down, and out comes the juice box. The juice box. One-time use. This was the equivalent of a C4, but you can't just plant it and go away. You had to sacrifice yourself for the desired effect. So this makes it more like a kamikaze weapon. In case you don't know, what you did was, first, you drank the juice, make sure it was empty. Then, optional, but it was better if you blew some air into the box a bit through the straw to get the box inflated. Then, you placed it on the ground and you stomped on it with as much force as you could. This would make the sound that could shatter the school windows. Harder you jumped on it, the bigger the sound. But as I said, you had to be there, and you left the evidence behind, so the risk of getting caught was very, very high. But if you get a couple of your friends to do it at the same time, that was a different story. Alright, and for the final weapon, let's press the button one last time. Old one goes down, and out comes the paper popper banger. The paper banger popper. Whatever this thing is called. Some of you might not know this one, but this was a big part of my childhood. This is one of the GOATs, because all you needed to make this was just one piece of paper. You folded it until it got to this shape, and to use it, all you had to do was to swing it really, really hard. The sound it made was equivalent, if not more than the juice box. This would be the equivalent of a flashbang. A flashbang that doesn't blind you, but disorients the fuck out of your vestibular system. If someone set this off next to your ear, you'd be walking around like that confused soldier on the Normandy beach from Saving Private Ryan. Use of this was infinite. You could quickly reload it and do it again. And even if you fucked it up, it was just a piece of paper. The paper popper. Now imagine the sound of the whole class swinging this thing, jumping on the juice box, and setting off the bottle at the same time. That was fucking insane.